see if we are live. Going to try and check. Okay, still not seeing it. Okay, awesome. So my live stream is coming up now. Going to grab this link, share it. Going live. So everyone, whoever's tuned in so far, this live stream is going to be kind of a bit of everything, kind of an ask and you shall receive type of thing. Let me see, just going to come over here. Thank you people who are tuning in right now. I was kind of hoping to do this live stream, just because we're approaching the time when the WOC region is going to open up. So the season ends in 25 minutes, and that means that I will be getting some coins, and then the WOC region should be open for people to start transferring to. Hello. So I'm hoping that's going to come up soon. Coinky Dink, you're playing too? Well, hello Harry, hello Reject Gamer. Let's see, so I guess I'll start off by talking about this commissary. So this has been a great event in my opinion. There have been lots of awesome items to pick up. Let's see if I can drop this link somewhere else as well. Live streaming, if anyone is interested. So yeah, this live stream is just going to be a bit of everything, going to be talking about just kind of whatever comes up, kind of an open conversation. I didn't mean to skip that first one. Don't know who this is, but their rep is for some reason 375, but they seem to have a maxed out Mercer team. I'm wondering if when they transferred, they lost their rep. So technically I didn't even have to do that on the first turn, where I'm using command rushing my Dr. Stevens, just because this team wasn't in a position to really do anything anyway. Oh, stunned myself. That does not happen very often, on this team at least. Yeah, we're going to do this because Pete is confused anyway. He's not going to be doing much. And kill. So, yeah, feel free to ask me questions in the comment section. I'm pretty open to answering things. Right now we're kind of just waiting for leagues to end and stuff. So, the stretch is in 23 minutes. I did not this season make it on the top players list, but it's kind of interesting because, like, if we take a look at people's trophies, so like James here has 3.6 million trophies, but it's listed as 2.43. Tex, his trophies are pretty close to being accurate at 2.5, listed at 2.43, and I didn't get on this list this time. Like, everyone's trophies are kind of all over the place, so it's pretty difficult to see where people actually are. Like, I'm at 2.4 million trophies, and I'm not listed on there. I guess something to report to you guys, I finished all 10 seasons in Diamond, so I got that Diamond box, which was pretty awesome. I also had 1, 2, 3, and this final season, so 4 seasons have been in Diamond 5 as a finishing, which means I also got 4,500 coins, hence why I have 4,622 coins. I'm kind of just saving up before WOC, so I'm getting prepared for that, and I'm going to be streaming WOC as much as I can, so I'm pretty excited about that. I mentioned this at the beginning of this live stream, but not a lot of people have been on, which is fine. The commissary event has been amazing in my opinion. These S-class cards that keep coming up, these choice boxes, so this one had, one of every type of can, which was great. There have been trainers, there's been gear, legendary medals. There's just so many positive things going on right now. Like, this event is probably one of the best events that we've had, and a lot of this is very grindable because, let's see, so there's an easy mission, so 10 world map stages, prison shank roadmap, gold bricks, 500 walkers, level up 5-star characters 10 times, level up 6-star characters 10 times, and you get 10, 20, so 30, 40, 50, 65, 75 shanks off of that. This hard one, I've done almost everything here. Level up 6-star characters, alert, energy refills, SR, upgrading ranged 6-star characters. This also counts as veteran rings, so doing a single ring upgrade at a time works well for this. 50 world map stages I have not opened for the S-class recruits because that's 750 coins that I don't really want to spend. You would get, upon finishing, a random choice box with some gear, which would be useful. The Nightmare one, I have not done 10 S-class recruits, and if I did a 10 pull, then I would also get the 3 pull. I don't think it's worth the coins. So I did use 20,000 armory tokens because I was upgrading a weapon to a 5-star. I used 1,000 coins because I pulled on the 600 shank box and got 650 shanks, which set me up well. Using the Gentleman's Rush was pretty easy. Rick Grimes, which is the command green one, so you can use the 6-star or the S-class to accomplish that. This, when 200 world map stages, took quite a bit of time. It was very tedious. It was not exactly a fun one to do. And I just don't think 125 S-class cards warrants using 2,200 coins. Like, this would not be a bad thing to pull on, but at the same time, I don't have a ton of coins. Like, I want to save those coins for WOC. I've been trying to grind out some coin rewards so that I can have a few more for walk because, you know, it gets expensive. I'm hoping that today when the commissary refreshes that there will be more armory tokens because I'm at 35,000. I would like to get 50,000 again to upgrade one more weapon to a 5-star weapon. Hello, Maymat. Welcome. Welcome everyone who's watching and tuning in. So I have just a bunch of things kind of in my inbox, not a lot, 64 items. I have some S-class cards here, so, you know what, like, I'm thinking about using it on Wangfa, but I don't want to make a decision yet. Just have a variety of different things going on here. S-class box, the gear box, so this was for finishing X number of times in Diamond, I think. But I ended up getting quite a few different items there, so I'm pretty happy with that. Like, I was very happy to receive the 4,500 coins. So I guess I can show you guys, like, my weapons right now. I have a double attack rampage weapon, but not the good double attack. I have a princess weapon with tough healing, and it's just, I got the best slot for it. I wanted team player, but I will settle for this because, like, it's just hard to craft something good. Dr. Stevens, I was trying for fast healing, but instead I got team player, which is still pretty good. I would have liked the fast healing so that I could recover from things like infection, but this will help my attack out quite a bit. Okay, I see a question. I think XX Chris, soon I will get S-class princess with Priya as a leader. Do you think Sheldon will work? Okay, let's bring up Sheldon's card, actually. Sheldon. I don't always remember these guys off by heart, so bleed damage, 3 enemies get confused for 2 turns, headhunter, so on a critical hit, crosshair, so that's decapitation. Active skill is focus. Oh, all teammates get focus. Okay, I like that focus quite a bit. If you're using him for the sake of a focus, I would say this is a very, very good toon to use. It's similar in some ways to Ivanova as well as Aaron, although I like Ivanova and Aaron more because they're both S-class toons. Yeah, and then the Rush. Rush is decent. It's 76 AP, and I'm guessing you're going to want to rush your princess and your Priya before Sheldon. And you might have Dr. Stevens and a command on that team, so, you know, he could work for sure. I would definitely look at using, where is she? Ivanova. Like, I use her in my range team even. I didn't level up her rush. I could, because you know what? Like, this defense down isn't bad, but I'm really focusing on using her active skill on the second turn, because by focusing my team, I ignore I ignore taunt, I ignore confuse, I can attack around human shields, and there's that attack bonus, which is great. I give her a team player weapon usually so that she can stun the enemy, but then she can also give attack and crit to herself and all toons that are adjacent. Where's Aaron? Aaron is also a good option for this. Active focus ability, which is great. This rush, which is pretty powerful to be honest, and she impairs, which is useful. So she's a good controlling toon that way. I have 21k coins. Should I go for Command, Rick, or Jackie? I have S-Class Trader. I would go for Jackie probably, because the RNG could have the enemy attacking Trader on that first turn without them meaning to attack him, for example. So I think Trader's more of a standalone toon that can fit in most teams on attack or on defense. Rick can be used on attack or defense as well, but I just think that the Trader is more all-encompassing, especially with the specialist skill Resilient. When is the cut off for the Doc Stevens cards through Trauma Kits? I'm a bit worried. You're 500 cards away. We can take a look for that actually. So there's still 4 days left. We can see here that in the commissary it tells us there's 4 days left, like the bottom timer. So you still have time. You should be okay, I think, because right now, like with this level up event, I'm not sure. Harry, if you're in WOC, for example, so when I transfer to the WOC region, all of these missions for me are resetting, which means I could, quote, double dip in some ways because they haven't figured out a way to fix that. So when I transfer, I can actually claim more shanks when I join a faction. If we all do our raids, then we're going to get this additional 6k 5-star tokens as well as 1500 armory tokens because we can each get a sanctuary badge. It'll also mean I will get, I will get one more badge and then one more small box because I can accomplish this, because although this is ending in 4 hours, I should be getting a key within the next 13 minutes, give or take. Yeah, we don't have anything right now. Or not right now because the season's ending. No one's going to allow someone to jump in at the moment. If anyone's missing characters like that, like the gentleman, I would suggest in arenas, like waiting for a draft mode to come up and hopefully getting lucky with that. Is a second S-Class Priya worth getting? I would say a second S-Class Priya is worth getting, but I would definitely get some of these other S-Class characters first. Like, let's take a look at what I've been working on. So I'm working on getting Wangfa. I don't know why the S-Class symbol is beside the 5-star version, but I'm trying to get myself a first Wangfa. I have an Arav already. I think I have 2 Henyans already, so I'm going for my S-Class. Leopo, I have 2 of them. Gao, I have an S-Class. Wangfa, you know what, I could get up to like 3,500 cards on him, but I'm still 2.5k cards short. Mercer, I have an S-Class, and I have a 5-star. Relito, I need a lot of cards to get his S-Class. Princess, I have 1 S-Class, but I wouldn't mind a second one. Dayu, I have 2 6-stars, which work well in arenas. Malcolm, I've talked about him today and just how slow he is and how I don't find him to be very useful when we have a toon like Ivanova, who's a free-to-play toon available, and he costs, there's 25 comics, and then there's an additional number of comics that you need to claim him in the first place. What is it? So 25, you need 50 comics, and then you need another 25, 75 comics just to claim Malcolm as an S-Class, and then all the comics needed to actually upgrade him. So I am not a big fan of Malcolm at all. Minerva I like because even as a 6-star, you could use her like on an attack team. You could be kind of tricky with it. If you can rush her on the first turn, which is definitely possible. Like, hold on, I gotta think about this. With the right AP gains, you could probably get her to rush on the first turn, and even if she dies on the first turn because of the enemy, she'll go into Outlast and she'll gain 100% AP, so you could rush her again. So long as you have a somewhat defensive team, you could rush her twice in almost the same turn, well, in 2 turns, causing that 175% infection to, I guess, minimum 3 enemies, maximum 4 enemies, because I'm not sure if the AI will recognize that 2 toons have infection already and that you're trying to infect 2 different toons. Also depends on if the enemy has a human shield, of course, and if your toon's focused. But I like this defensive buff. I saw an S-class Minerva actually on a defensive team in War that was quite strong. Even with this attack down weapon, they kept it. And she was just solid because when she rushed, that 75% defense bonus is pretty big. Although the trauma she applies, like not a lot of toons recover from everything, but she applies quite a few different like status effects, infection, trauma, heal reduction. So that's 3 different things. If people recover from those 2, and then trauma at the end, that's 6,000 trauma damage that could be applied. So she's not bad actually. Frost, I'm getting very close to my S-class version. I do have a 2 5 stars, 6 stars. I need to level them, so I'm working on that. But I'm 1,110 cards away from the S-class, and I'm pretty excited to get him. Weapon-wise, now this is a question that I've been asked about before. So my weapons got messed up, and I just made some mistakes with them, but ideally you want an elusive impair weapon, defense, HP, and then I would actually go for, and I'm going to show you guys the specific craft I'm talking about. So it's in tough. I don't think it's resistance. Nope, it's not resistance. Is it? Yeah. So amplification 4. If we go to the very bottom, in possible success results, so it's not even a crit success, heal 10% at the start of each turn for each debuff on this character. This is a very useful skill to have on him, because infection, for example, is a debuff in this case. So if Traitor infects him on an auto attack team, he has 15% infection, but it counts as a debuff. So he's now healing 10%, which isn't the full 15%, but if someone else applies a debuff, so impair, stun, taunt, confuse, this will actually heal Frost completely. So if the opponent's team doesn't run a focus, then Traitor on an auto attack team will just keep infecting Frost over and over again, and he'll heal himself every turn. You would want to run like 100% heal reduction on Frost, because people usually run your Traitor or your Mateo because of the infection with Wangfa. So you have to just be aware of different combinations that people are likely to use. And I think being aware of those differences is one of the hardest things to know, like being aware of what the meta is and what other people are running. So like in War, I usually have a couple different defensive teams. So like this one is a fast rushing defensive team that I use against most factions, just because it rushes on the first turn, it can cause some serious damage. But against some other factions, I might run this one. So it still has an RNG leader, but then Princess, who I actually just maxed out, is able to normalize as well as apply a lot of damage. And then I have Steve, because his active skill can recover infection, which is pretty unique. His rush also applies burn damage to the enemy and brings down Toon's AP, so the AP drain cannot be blocked. And the 2000 burn just means that when he rushes, he's not going to trigger payback tunes that people run against fast rushing defensive teams. His weapon is also pretty useful by being a double attack weapon, but doing 400% damage. So I like Steve myself. I'm still building a few defensive teams. Like, I don't really have much to hide with what I have here. I'm pretty sure all of you guys have seen all this before. I'm going to make adjustments to this. I'm just going to take a look at some of the questions. Do you think Doc is a good S-class character? Can you show his power? Because I don't know if I should ascend the 2 normal 6 stars. Okay, so I did get my S-class Dr. Stevens, and where is he? He's another toon that I'm actively working on because of his active skill. So turn 2, Up to 2 teammates recover from heal reduction. So if I don't run heal reduction mods, I could use Dr. Stevens, and I'm trying to make him kind of tanky. I haven't really done that yet. I need that mod removal. But I think he could be used on attack or on defense. I haven't really made up my mind how I want to mod him completely. I kind of just threw some mods on him just to test him out. But his honor roll is pretty nice. Like, no bound weapon, so you could definitely put on absolute defense weapon on him if he's on a defensive team. Or if he's on attack, you could use something like... Hold on, let me just filter this. Yellow 4-star weapons. We could use something like this, but an attacking version. Because impair when attacking would give you some more control. Or you could use something clever. You could use something like an 8% AP weapon with AP and attack. What else do we have here? This is one of those other AP weapons that I usually run on a ROV, well, the 5-star version. This is just my 4-star version, which is a bit more powerful because I didn't up the AP on it, which, let me see, for Dr. Stevens, this would actually be okay because the 20% AP to self would be 14 AP and then 40 and then any 8% AP weapons or active skills and stuff. Let's go into watch it. Yeah, so I'm live right now. I know. The latest video that I put up, guys, I'm going to make a mini series. So based on I think there's 42 S-class characters currently in the game. So I'm not counting Georgia or Jason. But I will admit in this last video, I forgot Glenn existed. Yeah, he kind of just slipped my mind. But I still would not put him in the 5 worst tunes. 5 worst S-class tunes. I think he does have some uses. It's a little difficult to use him, but at the same time, with him being a free character, I think he can be used very easily by a lot of people. Hey, Knife. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but yes. So I just spoke about that actually not that long ago. That Minerva I think is good on attack either as a 6-star or an S-class, because even as a 6-star, her rush and her active skill, like mostly everything's the same except for the stats. And you know what, you could be tricky with her. If you can get her to rush on the first turn, well, if she's killed on the second turn or the first turn of a defensive team, you're still able to rush her on that second turn because of her Outlast ability, so long as she isn't, stunned, confused, impaired, all that. But you can focus your team to get around a lot of that, and I just think that there's a lot of application with her because infection really is taking over the game in some ways, because we see that Minerva has it, we have the Traitor who has it, we have Mateo who has it, we have, where's Dayu? We have Dayu who has infection on her active skill, Mr. Jones has infection on his rush. Now this is slower of course, but I found him to be very useful in Nightmare Survival Road, both in people and in walker stages, and in a mixture of those two, because when he rushes, dealing 3 attacks means he has a chance of 3 critical hits, and based on his skill being confounding, you would definitely mod him with a crit chance mod, and that means he has the chance of 3 critical hits, which is 3 headshots, which is 3 kills. Or if you have a double attack weapon on him, that moves up to 6, and then of course when you're against people, his infection can kill tunes very, well, not quickly, but effectively. So lots of applications there. Yeah, Minerva, as I mentioned, you know what, there's some solid attack teams as well as defense teams for her. I don't want to start YGL yet because when I move regions, I think it resets if you're not done. Like if a mission isn't completed, it doesn't transfer through. So like this won't transfer through, for example, unless I wait the half hour. I just don't expect to get my key in the next 2 minutes because the WOC region is opening up. My best S-class character. Okay, so this is difficult to decide upon because like Priya for me was really game-changing when I got her, and I think she's a game-changing tune for anyone who doesn't have a true like attacking lead. Priya is a tune that is never really going to go out of style. Wow. Really? Server maintenance, what is that, an hour and 1 minute? Okay, guys, so it seems like my live stream is going to be ending. I guess I can still talk about some of these characters. Let me think. Um, Shoot. Okay, I'm gonna just talk about some characters right now. You guys can just look at that server maintenance thing. So what Priya does, and this is all from memory, and I'm going to go through some other characters too, but Priya, her leadership skill, range tunes plus 50% attack, and a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and that's her as an S class. There is no other tune in the game that really gives that plus 50% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. I know we all expected a melee tune to fall underneath this category, but we've just never gotten that. On her rush, she deals, I can't remember, it's 175% damage, but it's a certain amount of damage on 3 attacks. It applies confuse and impair to a line of enemies, so not only do you have a lot of power, but you have a lot of control. You also have the ability to use a double attack and rampage weapon on her, which means when she rushes, she's making between 3 to 18 different attacks, which is just a huge amount of damage. We also have her active skill, so removing positive effects. This works great actually on a lot of teams, because whenever you're fighting a team that has a human shield, for example, you can use this on the human shield to take away the 50% defense bonus that they get because they're defending, which it might not seem like much, but 50% say on a Frost that has 10,000 defense, that means they have 15,000 defense at that moment, and you're cutting it back down to 7,500. So just food for thought in that note. Let me see. Why don't you use Ivanova, Diego, or Rov? I take this team from you and it's so effective against Pete teams. So I don't use Ivanova, Diego, or Rov at the moment. And I would guess that you have Dr. Stevens and a command tune in there. That would be a very effective team actually. Not actually, but it is. You have a plus 40% attack boost, a huge bonus to AP1 attacking, active plus 25% attack boost with focus on turn 2 with Ivanova. When Ivanova rushes, she does defense down to a line of enemies, so minus 25%. Diego, though, does minus 65%, and he has impair. So if on the first turn you attacked with Diego and a Rav first, and then you use Dr. Stevens' active skill, command rushed him after, then Diego and a Rav would be ready to rush on the second turn. And then after that, you focus on turn 2 with Ivanova so that you can rush on the center tune with Diego, which defense downs and impairs everyone. And then you can rush a Rav up to 3 times on that turn because you'll rush once, hopefully kill someone, which gives you a second attack because of follow-up, and then you'll use your command to attack the final one. The reason why I wouldn't go with a team exactly like that, I would probably sub Diego out for Princess, is because of payback and bide tunes that are on a lot of defensive teams, and normalize will really protect your team from receiving that payback damage. So I do believe that could be very effective, like against Pete teams that don't have someone like S-Class Shiva, but for the teams that I see a lot that have S-Class Shiva or have S-Class Rosita, it's very difficult to run only a Rav. Like I see teams that have, Priya lead, Princess, a Rav, Dr. Stevens, and a command, but Princess is really key. You're in the middle of a fight? Sorry, Harry. Yep, you as well, Chris. You modded Priya's 6-star weapon and now I'm going to get her in S-Class? Yes. You will lose the upgrades that you did on 6-star Priya's weapon because it's like Priya is a whole new character now. So you're exchanging your 2 Priyas in for the S-Class. So that changes what weapon she's going to have because it's a bound weapon. You never use Liliths or Ulysses on normal 6-star S-Class characters. See, I sometimes do. It depends on the character. So some characters as a 6-star, even for the S-Classes, you can still use them. An example would be Minerva. Another would be Dayu and her active skill, because that infection. I would use it in Onslaught, for example. Let's see. I wouldn't use them on Frost. I wouldn't use them on Shiva. Trader, I would use it on his active skill because you could still use him, I think, as a 6-star on attack under the right circumstances. Sorry. Let's see who else. Who else is a pretty good S class as a 6-star? Priya, because her leadership skill and control. She doesn't have the same power, but she still provides you with a lot of control that you wouldn't get with other characters. Princess definitely. So even though Princess won't hit the same way, her active skill is invaluable. Like, her active skill makes her one of the best characters in the game. So when you ask me who my favorite S-class characters are or were, or just singular, Priya is one of them. Princess is the next one because she can be used on attack or on defense. What makes her really awesome is that you can rush her on turn 2 very easily. With the right weapons and tunes, you can rush her on turn 1 very easily. Her active skill helps you control the enemy in a way that almost no other tune does. Like, people might say, oh, AJ can do that, but I don't think AJ is very good. I actually wrote a piece about him on my blog and called him a Franken-tune because that's what he is to me. He is a jack of all trades and a master of none. So even though he's able to normalize with his active skill, it's to a line of tunes, and it's just not effective enough because people stagger a lot of their payback tunes or bide tunes, their timeout-like tunes. So he just doesn't do enough, and then even with Cutthroat enhancing his damage output, his rush damage is not as high as a Rav. So he's kind of like a mixture of Princess and a Rav, and there's one kind of like a Shiva because of the Cutthroat, but that's just because of Cutthroat. But AJ is just not a tune that I think I would ever go for because Priya outclasses him by so much. Priya's special bound weapon also gives her such a huge attack boost sometimes that it's almost comical when people throw up a defense because the 75% attack boost or something like that, or plus, I can't exactly remember her weapon, but it gives you a huge attack boost and it is cumulative with her Berserker ability. So Princess as a 6-star or an S-class is amazing. Like, I think for the Season 11 store, because they have 2,500 Princess cards, anyone starting out the game should focus on getting that Princess. Like, I'm going to be pulling those Princess cards because I would like a second Princess. I think she could definitely be usable as 2 of them on an attack team, or even 2 on a defensive team, or 1 on a defensive team and 1 modded defensively. It's just, there's so much application with her. You're about to get your S-Class Princess in the store. Well, hopefully this server maintenance is not actually 53 minutes because that would be kind of unfortunate. Yeah, Trader, obviously. I'm kind of sad to see my Mia won't be very effective in the future, and my Regina totally useless. Okay, Mia I think is still effective. So the reasoning is because of her Outlast ability. If you use her on a defensive team, you can almost assume the enemy is going to kill 1 or 2 characters on that first turn. And if they end up killing Mia, either on purpose or by accident, it's hard to control tunes like that on the first turn. So if you give her a focused stun weapon, then any type of confuse or taunt won't affect her if she's focused. And that means she's able to rush and revive a tune on your team. Depending on that tune, they might have their full AP, and they might be able to rush the enemy, either applying damage, either healing your team, either reviving someone. There's just a lot of possibility with her. Mia will always also be useful in arenas because she can never be turn 1'd. So any Outlast character cannot be turn 1'd. Whenever I face a Mia in an arena, if I end up killing her on the first turn without applying like stun, confuse, taunt, and so on, something to just stop her from reviving someone, I will defend the rest of the turn because I don't want to kill another tune. If I end up killing another tune, she's going to revive that character and they're going to rush me, and the match is now not just, it's not a turn 1, it's not a turn 2, it might be a turn 3 or more. By defending after killing Mia on the first turn, I have a chance, in arenas at least, to make it a turn 2 match. So it's all about kind of weighing in and figuring out what's the best way to go about fighting a team. And Mia actually throws a wrench in a lot of them. Regina, yeah, okay. That's going to be harder to use. I'm not exactly sure where you could use her right now. I know her active skill is an AP gain to 2 tunes, but I can't recall what percent it is. So depending on that percent, because it is a turn 2 active skill, it could be useful if you need that specific amount of AP to make other tunes rush. So again, you got to remember that certain tunes are role fillers. They fill a specific role on your team, either it's attack, defense, onslaught, raids, like trick teams. Like everyone has a position, except for Blue Abraham. Blue Abraham, I'm sorry if you have a 6-star Blue Abraham. Just, I can think of no use for him at all. My last, what do you prefer, 10 pull or 40 pull? Neither. I would say for 100 pulls to guarantee that you're getting at least the 5-star version of an S-Class tune if they're first coming out. I don't like playing with chance and luck that way, because you have, even when it's double the odds, it's like a 0.4%, which moves up to 0.8% chance of getting your desired character. And what you have to remember is that that's the probability, but it's not the odds exactly. So like with probability, you have to be aware that like if we flip a coin 100 times, we expect 50% heads and 50% tails. But we could get 100 heads all in a row. And then the next 100 we might get 100 tails or whatever. The whole idea is that like your sample size to get those specific odds that Scopely states or anyone states are over almost an infinite sized sample. So if someone else in your faction, say, pulls 2 S-Class and a 5-star, that means that someone else isn't going to pull the S-Class or the 5-star based off of odds. Like someone could end up pulling 300 times and get nothing, while someone who pulls 10 times could get a heavy weighted like 3 S-Classes. Because if we pool everyone's pulls together, the averages will work out to the odds that are stated. I hope that makes sense for you guys. It's a bit of math, it's a bit of statistics. Is Worth 5-star ascendable for Priya? Yes. So Priya as a 5-star, make her a 6-star, and even as a leader, she's pretty good. As I mentioned before, she has a great leadership skill even as a 6-star. Her rush provides a lot of control. You don't have a damage that you usually do with an S-Class, but you can surround her with damage-dealing characters, like Krista is an example, or even Aaron is another example. You're writing the things I say? Well, I'm glad you're finding them useful. I try to update my blog as often as I can as well, because I know that some people learn better from written stuff than by like verbal, because like I know when I listen to someone else, I have to repeat it a few times so that I can understand what's going on and make my own notes. So making my blog was, I think, really valuable, and big shout out to Raz for helping me with that, for setting me up. Would not be a thing without him. There's Pokemon Direct tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm glad you're excited, Captain Walker Slayer. Harry, 20% isn't bad, because when we think about it, right, if you don't have those 20% AP weapons to self, right, so like the yellow weapon for a Rov that we usually pair him up with, or the 20% blue weapon, that is enough AP to help them rush on that second turn without having to attack and command rush them. Just as an example, like, it is possible to use it. Person who's speaking, I think, in Russian, I have no idea what you're saying, and I'm so sorry. I don't know. Let me see. Google Translate. I hope I don't regret translating this. Let me see. What kind of work? Bands again. I don't know what type of work they're doing right now. It'll be really interesting to see. I think part of it has to do with the new seasons, because they're updating all the leagues and stuff. So I think this server, like this maintenance, is to update it with all the new things that are being introduced. So the new tiering and stuff, a new store. So that's what I'm assuming. But again, when you assume, you make an out of you and me. You have a question. Priya or Mercer as a leader? That's a loaded question because it really depends on the team that you're facing. I like using Priya against Jackie leads. I like using her against some Angel leads, but I usually use Diego actually. I like using Priya against attack leads. I like using Priya against true defense leads, and by true defense leads, I mean people like Pete, Leopo, Aaron. So like the yellow Aaron, sorry. Mercer, I like using Mercer against Mercer, sometimes against other Jackies, sometimes against Angels. It's really about finding what works. So I like using RNG leaders, so random number generation, like so chaos leaders. When we think of RNG, think of Mercer, think of Jackie, think of Angel. So I like using Mercer leads against those ones because they're not true defensive leads. It means that even though my Mercer doesn't give an attack buff, the defense isn't getting a true defense or HP buff. They might be getting one or the other, but they're not getting both. So, would you say Ivanova, heading Michonne, Dr. Stevens, Command Maggie, and Rhodey is a good attack team? Let me see. Ivanova, active skill, focus, attack up, rush, defense down, trauma, leadership skill, 40% attack and huge bonus to AP to melee tunes, beheading Michonne, beheading, so execution as well as decapitation put together. Her rush does 3 sets of damage. I think she stuns on her active skill, and her weapon has an 80% chance to attack with a stronger attack slot. 76 AP, I think. Dr. Stevens, I'm assuming you mean 6-star doc, 66 AP, active skill turn 1, 100% AP to self. You can command rush him to start. I'm assuming you're going to be attacking with Michonne and Ivanova first, and then using Dr. Stevens and commanding him, so they get the AP. Rhodey's rush, I'm not as familiar with. I know it heals. I think it recovers crosshairs potentially. Oh, no, I think it recovers heal reduction. I know she's a fire starter. I think she dazes, maybe? I think she dazes. So she's a pretty good tune, actually. Oh, Ash. Sorry, Ash. I think that's a pretty good team. I think it might be difficult with keeping some tunes down because you're relying mainly on Michonne, and you'd have to have quite a few stun weapons, maybe an impair and attack weapon on Maggie for some more control. Rhodey, I can't remember if she has a bound weapon or not. I feel like she does, but at the same time I'm not 100% sure. Hi, Kieran. Totally understand that, Ash. Hearing your name is always important. Hey, babe. So that's at R2K2. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, I talk a lot about R2. Probably more than I should. Oh, and there's some Spanish that I totally don't understand. Oh, hola, amigo. Hello, my friend. Buenos means jante. Buenos means good. Maybe that's good day. I don't know. Nada means no. Okay, nothing much, just chilling in the UK. More stuff I don't understand. That's okay. Oh, she's talking about Mercer and Priya. I see that. I forgot about my armory and I have up to 700k armory tokens. Oh, wow. I wish. That's a huge amount of armory tokens. Congrats. I really wish I had that much. Yes, hello. Hola, Brazil. It heals 70%, recovers main heal reduction, and days or weapon does 1000 fire damage. Gotcha. Thanks, Ash. So I was pretty sure she healed. Heal reduction I got right. Days, cool. I actually got that right. Her weapon, I knew it was a bound weapon, but didn't know for sure. Oh, hey, Diablo. Where's Jiren at? God Jiren. I don't even know. Jesus? Jesus? Y-I-S-U-S. That one. Hey, Jays. Just scrolling down through this. Everyone around the world. Yeah. It's really cool to have so many people around. Bueno means okay. It might be. Oh, thank you so much, Diablo. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your donation. Shout out to Diablo, of course. Been a fan for a while. Check out his live streams too. I think he's also streaming WOC. Correct me if I'm wrong, Diablo. And thanks for translating, babe. I really appreciate it. You're not failing too much. Failing, sorry. I know there's a lot of info. I talk quite a bit. She does daze to all enemies for 1 turn. Bueno is good. Okay, good. So buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches. So good day, good afternoon, and good night. I think I got that right. Oh, and if there's anyone out there who speaks Serbian, kako ste danas, which means how are you today, maybe? How are you? Or how are you doing? Something along that lines. Yeah, I don't spend either, Shane. It's a hard life as a free-to-play player. Oof, I'm correct. This is awesome. I like being correct, although I'm not always correct. So guys, feel free to ask me some more Toon questions and stuff, although I don't have access to the game at the moment because no one does. I am pretty good with knowing a lot of the characters still. Like, I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I know quite a bit. And if I don't know something, I'll tell you that. I know that someone mentioned Mercer before, so something else I like Mercer. What I like about Mercer is that as a defensive lead, he still offers a huge bonus to AP when taking damage. So if the enemy ends up attacking your team, it's very easy to trigger a rush because of a huge bonus to AP when taking damage. And if you're not able to control on the first turn, and so long as the enemy isn't going to be rushing you on that first turn, you could defend on the first turn and give yourself a 50% defense bonus and kind of wait it out till the second turn till you're able to take control. Oh, thanks again, Diablo. You don't have to, by the way. Guys, I just want to put it out there. I don't need donations. It's very nice of you and I appreciate it. But I'm just really happy that I can bring you guys some great content. I really enjoy being able to provide a service to you folks and being able to share all the information that I do. I don't always have the opportunity to share everything I want, but I do the best I can. What's my thoughts on S-Class Sheila? I actually like Sheila. I know that on her rush, I believe she revives someone. She also recovers heal reduction, so she's great to use against like Wangfa, for example. Her active skill, I think, it's like crosshairs and heal reduction recovery or something on that. She is a lacerator, so she can double the bleed on tunes, and then she doesn't have a bound weapon, which means you could give her something like an absolute defense axe, or you can be kind of tricky. You could give her a stun weapon. There's a lot of application, I think, with Sheila. I think the main issue I have is that there's like no way to acquire her, and it's kind of baffling because like the WOC 2 tune Steve, I understand why you can't acquire him, but it was never stated, I don't think, about not being able to get Sheila, and I feel like she should be added to the Torches map. R2, donate money, don't listen to her. Yep, it's going towards our live stream. We're going to try to figure out, if anyone knows actually, how to do a live stream together while being in different countries. Hit me up and let me know, because I would love to be able to live stream with R2, and that way we can kind of cater towards the English and Spanish people. I'm pretty excited to live stream WOC. I know that Diablo is as well. My girlfriend R2 is. Man on the Moon is going to be live streaming WOC as well. I think that the other content creators will have like a mini account in so they can scroll the scoreboards and stuff. They might commentate on some stuff that they see based on like wins and losses for some factions, maybe interview some players to see their perspective of WOC and what's been going on. Yes, maintenance at the end of Season 10. For the record, I think it's because of all the changes made to Season 11. Should we have been given a warning? Absolutely. The fact that they didn't put out a message saying, because of the changes made to Season 11 with the League store and all of that, we will be having a server maintenance at this time. Like, it's funny to me because the WOC region opened 23 minutes ago, but no one can transfer because of his server maintenance. So that's an applause for Scopely. Make me rich. Trust me, I'm not gonna be getting rich anytime soon. It was just me and my family walking in a forest. Oh, that sounds really nice, Ash. Perfect trader weapon. I would say HP, defense, keep the infection, and then cleanse. So I would probably go for more HP than defense, just because you're going to be no, I would balance the two as much as I can, actually, because you can always supplement with mods, and then also if you run other alert tunes on your team, you can have that alert buff weapon, which will give bonus defense, which I think would be useful, but definitely cleanse, because even if someone gets him normalized, confused, taunted, he still has the chance to recover from that and go about his business. I'm not a big fan of Sheila, to be honest. Her rush is underwhelming to me. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of her, don't get me wrong. So in the recent video that I did where I put up like the 5 worst S-class tunes in RTS, Sheila is not there, but I'm not saying that she's much higher than that position. Like, a lot of these tunes, you have to remember, could be used under specific circumstances and can be manipulated, but what I'm kind of looking for with these best S-class tunes is their whole package and the different areas that you can use them, and also comparing them to other S-classes that exist. So like a good comparison would be looking at Krista and the Gentleman. Like, these two tunes are very similar based on they're both alert, high damage tunes with Waste Not, but one has a normalize ability, one has a defense down and focus active skill. One has 1500 damage to one enemy, one has, I'm not sure how much Krista has, but she also does slow to the enemy. So it's difficult to compare different tunes, and again, like, you can use them in different teams and manipulate them to be very effective. So I'm not saying that any of these teams are downright awful. Well, maybe Kapoor, but like, Kapoor is in his name, and he was one of the first S-class tunes out. At the time, he was very good, because during the transition period, so I'll call the transition period anytime we have a changeover, so like from 5 stars to 6 stars, from 6 stars to S-class. There's, 2 or 3 months where most players are still running, 2 to 3 characters from the previous generation, meaning any of the newer characters are significantly better because compared to the old ones, there's just a huge stat boost. There's a huge ability boost. There's just a lot of additions that make them really strong. Sheila cards, yes. That would be nice. Take that Rampage Priya of yours and clear up the walkers. I would probably take Dylan against the walkers at this point. Dylan is actually a pretty good walker killer. Yes, we want to live stream together. Yeah, over a Discord call would be interesting. We would still have to live stream separately, but we could be talking to each other at the same time. That's a possibility for sure. Oh, bye, Allison. I'm definitely late on that. I'm very happy for you. Thank you. Thanks, Frankie. I really appreciate that. I've been really lucky in this game. I've had some great people and some great supporters. My number one supporter being R2, of course, and I really appreciate her, of course. Lots of Spanish. Do you even need to 5-star the trader's weapon? I think you should upgrade the HP and defense and stuff, but what even for a 4th slot? Cleanse, mainly. I think Cleanse would be a great option to put on the trader in that 4th spot. Or even the weapon decision that I decided on for Frost earlier in this video, where for each debuff on this character, apply 10% healing at the start of each turn, because for the few things that you're able to apply to Trader that he isn't resilient to or immune to, he would then be healing every turn, which could be very annoying. So actually that's an interesting food for thought as well. Nope. Spam away in Spanish. No. R2, keep talking. Keep the Spanish people aware of what I'm saying or what you're saying, and it's all good. It's all good. Oh, phone needs charging. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, I expect my phone to tell me sooner or later that we need to charge up. Oh, to the choppa. I will see you guys there. I look forward to meeting whoever is on this stream in WOC. I think it'll be a really fun time. And who knows, maybe you guys will see yourself on the live stream. Yes, Brazil. Hola, Brazil. Dylan is your tower tune. Number 2, your son. Oh, Dylan is an interesting tune. So the one thing that I don't like about him for a tower team is that his active skill goes off on turn 2, even if you don't level it. So in most cases, that's awesome, an active skill going off early. But in Dylan's case, I wouldn't want him going off that soon. Oh, adios, Chris. If I have to choose from the newer S-Class characters to focus on, which one would I choose? Okay, so can we define what newer S-Class characters you're talking about? Like, how far back do we want to go? Because I'm thinking, like, would we count Shiva and Rosita in that? I'm trying to remember some of the new... Well, I think the first S-Class character to focus on would be the Trader, because he is one of the best just standalone tunes out there. I would also say Alpha. So I know a lot of people don't think much of S-Class Green Alpha, but I think she is an absolute beast of a character. So a lot of people have compared her to Harper, and I would like to say this is a little bit inaccurate because Harper was never a damage dealer. Alpha hits hard, and when I say hard, I mean really hard. It's like 400% damage on 3 attacks, so it's 1200% damage total, or attack total, sorry. And let's see, if you can get in the 4-star weapon wheel, 4 weapon tokens, there is a cricket bat that has like 15% attack, 15% crit, and a better chance to splash the enemy. So what I like about splash is that it can hit up to, I think it's 2 or 3 adjacent targets. So on a tune like Alpha, so imagine, like I actually just did a video with using Alpha on my Clementine team, but if you end up rushing with Alpha on the second turn, for example, with a splash weapon, the tune you're rushing will not have defense down applied to them, but all tunes around them have defense down applied to them after that first hit. So that means on the second and third attack, if either of those end up splashing because of the splash weapon, you're applying significantly more damage than you would have been without the splash weapon, or without the defense down. Because the minus 50% defense, you have a plus 50% attack if you use her active skill on the first turn. So you are applying a significant amount of damage where you're probably killing the primary target, and you're also applying a huge amount of damage to the adjacent targets upon a splash. There's so many opportunities to use her, and at this state in the game, everyone is now getting some pretty decent weapons. So by having a disarming character, so this is why I didn't want to put Glenn in the last category on my latest video, because disarm is such an important stat. And if we think about it, Xander, but Xander, who is a command tune, can use disarm on the second turn. He disarms, I think, 2 or 3 characters. Glenn only does 1, but Glenn is an S-Class tune, which makes him a bit superior. If you're only using Xander for the sake of a disarming character, you may as well switch over to Glenn. You could use a different command tune on your team, so long as you have enough damage dealers to apply damage on the rest of your team. That disarm is so important in some cases where there are no holes on a defensive team. And by holes or windows, I mean, someone has stun weapons, they have impair weapons, they have absolute defense, they have AP drain, and then the combinations where there's also slow or there's focus. There's just so much application with it. Yeah, and you don't have a disarm either, so even better, absolutely. Alpha is better than what Harper was, in my opinion, because she's a damage dealer as well. She fills so many different roles, and like on my blog, I actually made a blog post about Alpha. So I've been trying to do some different S classes on my blog, kind of explaining what I think about them and where I would use them, breaking them down, because it's hard to always make videos about characters, and I know it's hard to sometimes watch them and listen to them. So I'm trying to provide 2 different types of content so that more people can understand what's going on. Will you do character review for Alpha? I can. I know I did already, but I can go over it again if you would like. I'm pretty sure I have a video of her, as well as I mentioned, a blog post. Xander, the tough part with Xander is him being a 6-star at the moment, because a lot of people have gotten away from 6-stars and are using S classes, and I have had a few occasions where my Xander, when I've used him, he's been one-shot by a Rav, for example, or a Henyon. I switched out Glenn in one of my teams and running Sadiq. Yes, I am also running Sadiq like R2 on some teams. I just like his active confuse ability. I also like that he doesn't have a bound weapon. So I know that R2 switched out to Sadiq as well because she has a team player weapon. So that gives the plus 15% attack and plus 35 crit chance to all adjacent toons and to self. Yeah, so like, to each their own, for sure, Shane. Like, Xander disarms better than Glenn, but Glenn just has the stats to back it up. And yeah, like, a lot of people just don't understand how certain toons are used, and as I mentioned, like, there are different opinions about different characters, because you can find a use to almost every single toon out there. And this toon might be amazing to you, but it might just not work for someone else's team. It's all about that team synergy, which is one of the hardest things to accomplish. Oh, thank you, killing it. Actually, R2 made my intro for me. So, big shout out to my girlfriend on that. It's an amazing intro. And I'm very happy and proud of her for making that for me. I feel very special. Oh, whoa, okay. What else, guys, would you like to talk about? Because apparently I've been talking for a total of 61 minutes, 62 minutes. And I'm really open to talking about anything you guys want to. Different characters and stuff, different abilities. I guess some general information right now while I'm thinking about it. The alert buff does not stack. So the alert defense buff does not stack with other alert defense buffs. Or any, yep. But the, let me see, the fast healing as well as the tough healing does stack. So it's kind of interesting because we don't really know like what stacks and what doesn't until we test it out. So I will make a video about what works with what, I guess, and to kind of see what are good combinations and what might be a waste to craft. So thank you, Ash. So Tatron said, add everyone, hey y'all, we're currently aware of the unscheduled maintenance that all players are currently experiencing and are working to resolve this as quickly as possible. Though at this time we do not have an exact ETA as to when that will be, we'll provide another update as soon as we have more information. Sorry for the inconvenience and thank you for your patience. Well, I am really hoping that with that server maintenance and it being unscheduled that we might get, you know, the usual smelling salts. But yeah, I'm actually hoping for some sort of comp because I know a lot of people are planning on leaving and stuff and like to go to WOC. They were trying to get stuff for the commissary. There's just different things people were planning on. They might have just grabbed level ups and they're trying to level up some characters for the event. Yeah, regarding war, no idea. Like, I've seen those rumors about VK showing that there's war, but no idea if it's actually true or not. Hey, Christopher, thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone's support. I know that it can be difficult to hear me talk sometimes. Just excuse me as I type something out, guys. Okay. Maybe that's gonna send... Okay. Yeah, compo. Oh, we're all kind of hoping for some compensation of some sort. So, guys, any other characters? Henyon is so underrated in my opinion, as well as Minerva. Yes. Minerva is actually very tanky on defense, and she's pretty decent on attack teams. I talked about her at the beginning of this live stream. Henyon, I also agree, is pretty underrated. I think he will be more of a threat when there's more camouflage in play, because what camouflage does, it stops like area damage attacks, so any type of splash, but it doesn't stop like status effects. So in the case of Henyon, he has a very good chance of killing a single enemy, but he's also able to apply stun and bleed. So he provides some sort of control and indirect damage that still goes through camouflage. So I think he's a very effective character that way. Okay, what else? What else, folks? Because I am here, I am streaming, and my internet is actually holding up pretty well. Kind of just waiting on things. Let's see, I see something about Frost. No competition for R2. R2 has my heart. And again, Ola Brazil. Hey Link, what do you think of Frost? Do you think he'll see more play going further with Trader hiding behind him? Frost worth grabbing soon? Yes. Frost is worth grabbing soon. I am about 1,100 cards away from my S-Class Frost, as well as some leveling and stuff, but I think Frost is a very good toon to have. Don't level up his active skill. As an S-Class toon, you could argue that you could level up his rush, but I would not level up his active skill. And if you're unsure of leveling up Frost's active skill, just remember that you can always level it up later, but you can't unlevel it. So keep that in mind. Like, you can try him out without leveling his rush and stuff first, and then see how he functions. If you don't like it, you can level it up. But Frost is definitely a toon that I like quite a bit. Did you saw the Guns of League? Guns of League? I'm not sure what you mean by Guns of League. I need some clarification there. Henyon is really good in my opinion. He could put toons on a constant stun loop. Yep, he could. We have to watch out though, because there's a lot of stun resist in play because of Mercer, of course. A lot of people are switching to confuse resist and taunt resist though as well. So, like as the meta changes, different toons kind of come in and out of play. What do you think of a bleed and burn team? I see usually one or the other, but not a mix. It's hard to mix those two because there's not a lot of control with bleed and burn teams. You would have to be very subjective and careful with the toons that you choose, as well as the weapons. Oh, guns in the League store. Yeah. So Mia's weapon, I think, is a great 5-star weapon. I think it's extremely expensive at 90,000 tokens, but I do think it's something that all players should pick up, at least for the team player ability. The team player ability helps out almost every single attack team a huge amount. That plus 15% attack works like a leadership skill, so it applies to the toon that's holding it and the toons adjacent to it. So it works really well for leader toons, for example. But Jason's weapon is very pathetic, in my opinion. The only reason I would pick it up would be as a collection, but I don't even know why they included it, because it's a very basic weapon that doesn't really add much. Ty and Minerva. Minerva's good. Ty, I don't really see a use in him. His weapon just underwhelms me. His rush is somewhat slow. It would be hard for me to find a use for Ty, especially in a case where he doesn't die. Minerva, with her Outlast, she at least has an extra turn even if she is killed. But Ty Ty one hit from a blue tune, and I think he's down under. Now playing the Guns of League. Yeah, it kind of does sound like a band. Jane in from Spain. Oof. Just stretching, guys. Been sitting in this chair a while. Okay, let me see. Sorry guys, just give me a second. Okay, I see more Spanish that I totally cannot read. Guys, also don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and information. And that's my pitch right there. That's what I'm going with. So yeah, what are you guys kind of looking forward to in the game? Ash, to annoy people with a harmonica, all you have to do is start playing a harmonica. Just joking, of course. I'm sure you're a pretty good player. Let's see. That's super easy. Yeah, super easy for sure. Let's see. What else can we kind of talk about? Oh, one of the the newest S-Class tune that's out, Storm. He's a pretty good character. He's a very individualistic character, but you expect him to be that way. I kind of like that he puts characters into the ground, meaning they're decapitated when he kills them, which is very useful. His rush applies a huge amount of damage. I definitely want to try him out on some defensive teams in the playtest region because I think it would be pretty fun to do. I think that he has a good shot at one-shotting some like blues on attack because I know Henyon is able to. It would be nice if they added Mia's gun to League Store instead of Season Store, so it would be League tokens and a ton cheaper. It wouldn't be OP if everyone had it. Yeah, so what we have to remember, and this is something that I said about the Hellgate compensation, when everyone basically got a Dr. Stevens, and this comes from the Incredibles movie. When everyone's super, no one is. So when everyone has something, it stops being that OP because everyone has it. And it's kind of a balancing act to an extent. So the people who had the advantage with these characters, with these weapons, with whatever they have, they lose it over time. What spenders usually pay for is an advantage. And that advantage is limited to a certain amount of time. So, I do believe spenders should have the advantage. They basically pay for me playing for free. I think that, without spenders, this game would not function. But spenders also need to know that without free-to-play, the game wouldn't function. There would be no competition, no one to play against. It would be very difficult to just have a spenders game purely, especially a game like this, which ends up being quite expensive. So there has to be some give and take. And what I think people need to remember is, it's not hard to be kind to each other on occasion. There are so many simple things that we can do in the game that help out another player, and it might come back to you, right? Like karma. And I just think that it's so easy sometimes to just be a decent person, and I know that is very subjective, and each of you can take that as you will, but there are so many people in this game where it feels like they're just trying to screw everyone else over, and that's just not the type of game that I like playing. I personally like avoiding as much drama as I can, and what I try to do with my content is bring you guys great information that helps people. I really want to just help people and inform people. I want to be able to provide you guys with good information that helps and aids people with the game, so I add more to the game instead of take away more. I hear about in other communities and stuff where people actively troll others and say that, in the Hellgate compensation, people were told to grab Yellow Alpha instead of Dr. Stevens. And what that does is it halts other people's progression. Like, these players could have had something and it would have kept them more interested in the game, but now they have a 6-star or 5-star alpha that has almost no use. So that's really not what I'm looking for. Like, there's so much drama that goes on elsewhere, and there's so much else going on in the world. Like, right now we're in a pandemic. The United States, I'm like, I can't believe what's going on over there with with everything. Like, if you haven't watched the news or tuned into the news recently, I would recommend that you do so. Whenever someone down the road comes out with the movie 2020, this year, it'll be an insane movie that'll be hard to believe. Like, not just the pandemic, but there were earthquakes in Puerto Rico. Australia was on fire. The U.S. military base, I think it was Afghanistan, that was bombed. The plane that was shot down over the Ukraine, I believe it was. The volcanoes in, I believe it was the Philippines. In Canada, we had a mass shooting as well in Nova Scotia. Like, then just the general violence that there is. Like, there's just so much going on in the world, and people usually play games like this to escape from it all. So I think it's important to remember that everyone is going through something, and if you can relieve some of that hardship, even by just not being, I don't even know what the word is here, but just being nice, it would do a lot. Okay, now back to some of the questions and stuff. My opinion on S-Class Dr. Stevens, I think he's a good free-to-play toon. His active skill is going to be really useful against people running the Wangfa and Trader combination, or Wangfa and Mateo combination. And he's a free-to-play character. He can be used on offense or defense. He's a very selfish character, so it's kind of interesting that he's listed as a support toon, but I think he's a pretty good free-to-play toon to have. Epic weapons are just so non-free-to-play right now. I was thinking maybe they could make a gold bar themed event for an epic weapon or two. Now that is a pretty interesting idea. I'm actually going to write that down, because that might not be, like, that would be a good idea. Gold bricks for weapon, or even a long login event. Like, if the weapon was good enough, having kind of a login event with maybe a couple like tasks to do during the day, like 6 raids or 12 raids or something, like, just to keep people engaged and making people want to log on. The Wakizashi. The Wakizashi is still in the 4-star weapon cache, or not the cache, but the wheel, so you do have an opportunity to pull it there. I think I have 3 of them at the moment. Yeah, some people love drama, and that's totally cool. Like, I just don't like being a part of it. I don't find that it adds much. 10k free coins. Yeah, I don't see that happening, but it's a nice wish. Yes, the riots. Exactly, Ash. A rampage weapon for compensation. Remember that glitch off the Wheel of Coins? Changed from, the Hellgate. Or no, the Skullgate. Skullgate. People got so many coins from that. And that was really crazy, actually. And early Christmas gift, babe, like 6 months early. Another words, don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. Yeah, basically, like, or you don't even have to be part of the solution, just don't be part of the problem. Like, sometimes it's easier to just not say anything than to add to the chaos. Like, I know we all get frustrated with this game anyway. Don't need to add to that frustration, because I'm sure that we've all been in that position before. Since I missed the 6-star Dr. Stevens event, I would like to see some offensive teams without Dr. Stevens. Okay, I will write that down. Without Dr. Stevens. Yeah, so guys, if you throw me some like video ideas, I can write them down. Like, I have a book actually where I have different video ideas. Hola Peru, welcome to the chat. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And I guess because we're all kind of here, I can give you some information on kind of the videos that I'm kind of focusing on doing at the moment. So one of the videos I'm doing is going to be a weapon video, and I'm going to try to craft the special craft for like different weapons and kind of do it out of 100 crafts to see how much of each I get based on having both crit territories and then only having the crit territories and then only having success and so on, just to kind of see like what the averages kind of are, because even if we have, say, a 65% chance at getting a critical success, that does not mean that the 4 critical success chances that we have are all evenly divided. So like, let's say 65, it doesn't mean each of them is a 16.25% chance up a total 100% chance, including normal successes. Like, people are guessing that the top craft is maybe 1 to 2%, while everything else is you know, favored more heavily. So that's one of the ideas that I have. I have a bunch of tunes because I did that video on pick a tune, any tune. So I have about 33 tunes that I want to work through. So I have tunes on this list like Michelle, Blue Denise, Green Princess, Yumiko with Cutthroat, Tough Lee, Stephanie, Harlan. Like, there's just a bunch of different characters here, and I have ideas written beside them on how I would use them, where I would use them, and why I would use them. I have an ideal defense idea, and this is something that I'm still toying with, and it's kind of unique. It's a little unique. I have a list of the different specialist skills and stuff that I want to go over on my blog. Just I find that it's easier to write about it than it is to make a video purely on that specialist skill. And I don't always find that the definitions on the forums are sufficient, or in-game even. And then of course I still have my 8 tiers of S-class tunes, ranking tunes, just to kind of give you guys an idea of where I think certain tunes fit in and how good or bad I kind of see them. But again, these are just opinions, and of course these characters can be moved around depending on how you use them. Yes, sitting back and doing nothing can contribute to the problem, but it also depends on the problem itself. Like, sometimes you know that certain people are just going to be angry, so instead of, you know, biting back, like just removing yourself or removing other people from that area. Like, sometimes you definitely need to say something, but it's all about each individual, like, circumstance. Yes, math is included, Diablo. I really enjoy math. Will you make a face reveal? Well, I'll have to talk to my girlfriend about that, to see if we want to do a face reveal together type of thing. But we shall see. Yes, I am very analytical with my teams. It helps me kind of figure things out and analyze what is, quote, best, end quote. Yep, it just shows 3 minutes left on the server maintenance for me. There is something on the Discord, and I'm just going to check. Please note the server maintenance window timer is going to extend out a bit further as we continue to work to correct the issue. I will continue to provide updates here as they become available. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, Tatron. Tatron is a very good person. I always find that they're very quick on their feet, and they're always trying to provide information to us, so go Tatron. No holographic Charizard, no. I used to have one of those somewhere. Oh, another hour and 15 minutes? Geez, so basically when my timer runs out, I'm getting more time? Perfect. Big update, yeah. Mine is an hour and 15. Yes, we're all in this together. High School Musical. Oi. Okay, guys, what else would you like to talk about? So yeah, I did add in also regarding video stuff. You guys gave me the gold bricks for weapon idea. Teams without Dr. Stevens in it. What else do I have here? Oh, another video I was going to look at is looking at some of the 5-star tunes that you might be able to still use in today's game. Like, there are some usable 5-star tunes for sure. One of the major ones, I think, is 5-star Victor, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen me use him before, where you can rush him very easily on the first turn, and he provides minus 50% defense down to all enemies. I would say Carson is about the same that way. Even Harper, like the 5-star Harper, isn't bad if you don't have anything else, and she's a disarming tune, so it could really open up the floor to other characters attacking on that first turn and not getting stunned or confused, taunted, and so on. Like, there's just, you have a lot of application that way. Let's see. Yes, Scopely is giving us all a hard time at the moment. Oy. So guys, let me know what else would you guys like to hear from me? Like, what videos would you like to see? Yeah. To sell fake holographic tours over. Tell them Greg Baxter is back. What else would you guys like to know about? Like, I have a bunch of random ideas and thoughts. Just give me some direction. Like, let's see. Like, I have a bunch of notes and stuff. I've written about team player before for you guys. I've written about human shields, resilient. Oh, I actually finished that whole sticky note, so that's great. That's gone. Oh, you know what? There's a video that I think you guys should definitely check out. So, Invisinerd made The Road podcast where he actually interviewed Vendetta, who is the leader of Vivictus. And I would say Vendetta is one of the best players in the game. So I actually made some notes myself from that conversation. And it was kind of interesting to hear some of these same ideas that I have being validated. So just an interesting video to listen to, at least. Can you make a video about trader team build? So when you say a trader team build, you mean using him on attack or defense? Because, to be honest, there's a lot you can do with the trader. Like, you can use an auto attack team. You can use him like on a defensive team very easily. Like, there's so many things you can do with a trader. He's a very standalone tune. And by standalone, I mean he can be there by himself and still be a pretty effective character. And now my service maintenance time estimation is at 0 and nothing's refreshed. Okay. Unstoppable free-to-play team. So the difficulty with understanding what is a free-to-play team is that technically all characters can be grinded for. Like, right now I would say for free-to-play teams or tunes, right now I'm going to include 6-star Princess because everyone's going to be able to get her in this next season. Well, at least the 2,500 cards, which is at least a 5-star/6-star tune, which is awesome. So that's going to be very useful. So I think I should make a video on that so that people understand how valuable she actually is. In Season 11, we have 2,500 Tiffany cards coming up, but it's just... I don't like Tiffany very much. And I explained that in my last video, actually. What is my opinion on Neutralize and other specialist skills that aren't used as much? Okay, so I did talk about lightning reflexes in my last video that I just put out. What I'm going to say about lightning reflexes is that it doesn't work very well. It needs a revamp. It badly needs an update. Like, they updated camouflage. They need to update lightning reflexes. They updated collateral and collateral 2. But lightning reflexes is just such a poor specialist skill because, like, Marlin and Rosie has lightning reflexes. Say he's in a line with another tune. If someone rushes and a Rob down that line and targets the tune behind Marlin and Rosie, although Marlin and Rosie is being attacked by a rush, they are not considered the primary target, so lightning reflexes is not being triggered. So that's a big problem to me because it has to be directly targeted. Also, if we get a tune like Priya, so let's say Priya rushes and hits one toon, kills that toon, and then hits Marlin and Rosie next, that will not trigger lightning reflexes. So that makes it kind of difficult to run. Not even kind of, it's very difficult to run. The other issue I have is that on a lightning reflex, if lightning reflexes is performed, Marlin and Rosie has a double attack weapon, like a natural one. They will not ever perform that second attack when lightning reflexes is triggered, which to me makes it pretty useless. Because, like, why would I want to get stun on this if it's not going to perform that secondary attack? And it's kind of a coding issue because it's technically lightning reflexes occurring before the rush, but if a rush does damage to multiple characters, well, the damage is already done to, say, your other toon, but now the toon is also dead and Marlin and Rosie has no damage. It doesn't work out. And mods are also ignored. So, like, if Marlin and Rosie had an AP drain, they wouldn't be able to AP drain the enemy. Neutralize, I think, is pretty useful. It's a very good controlling ability. It's not used very much. It would be interesting to see Neutralize combined with something else, but like in a dual specialist ability, but I'm not sure what I would like to see. Dexterity. So dexterity is tenacity as well as evasion combined. It's alright. It basically just makes a tanky toon. We see it on Kapoor. We see it on Roxy. And I think that's it. So, no, there's one more character, I think. But anyway, it would be better if the characters who had it had stronger kits. At the moment, it's just not usable enough. You get around it really easily. Of course, with Normalize, because there's no such thing as a Normalize resist mod. Berserker I like because Berserker can stack with other attack up limited buffs as well as with itself. And that's why it works so well on Princess, because Princess gets buffed like crazy. You clicked on the Princess cards and you're just waiting on the maintenance to finish. Yeah, we're all waiting on that now. See, I'm still going to grab the 2,500 Princess cards for sure. Good night, Prashant. Sorry if I butchered your name. And another hour. Hey, Shani. Yep, Roxy has dexterity. I used to like Roxy quite a bit, actually. She was a really cool character to use, and I really liked her active skill. And just bear with me, guys. I'm actually going to message my girlfriend online. Oh, this is actually so, it's so annoying having to wait for the maintenance to finish, especially when we didn't even know it was happening. It would have been nice to kind of plan it out, like, so I wasn't kind of loitering, and I was doing this stream to show you guys when I transferred over to the WOC region. What if they fix lightning reflexes and if they got attacked, their slot 3 in their weapon would 100% activate? Okay, if they fix lightning reflexes so the toon didn't have to be the primary target, meaning someone like Priya, if they rush someone else first and then hit Marlin and Rosie who had lightning reflexes, or a Rav who rushes a line would also trigger it, then I think it would be pretty useful. On Marlin and Rosie, it depends. Like, Marlin and Rosie actually has a great active skill for an attack buff. It's just not used very much, or like it doesn't have as much of an effect on the toon's rush itself. Yeah, I think if they revamped lightning reflexes, it wouldn't be OP, but it definitely would be useful. And sure, Christopher, I'll get back to you in a bit. I actually have like 50 different messages on my line at the moment, and I just wanted to send a message off to my girlfriend because I do miss her. And the distance kind of sucks because we're actually in different countries. So for any of you guys out there who are in those circumstances, I am so sorry. It is so frustrating and difficult, but we're all going to get through it. In time, we're all going to get through this. Okay, I don't know if my girlfriend's still on my stream or not, but I'm letting you know. You're not interrupting my stream. You're never interrupting my stream. We can chat whenever you'd like to chat. So, yeah. Who do you think are the top best all-around S-Class tunes in the game? See, I have my list, and I will give you one tune that I think is of the best top 5. Because I don't really want to give away... Hold on one sec. Yeah? Streaming. Streaming. Streaming what? Like, the internet? I'm streaming on the internet? Can I open the door, please? You can if you'd like.
I need you to clean up your room. I need you to get out of your room. Just sitting up here, lounging around, it's going to make me insane. You need to be more productive around here.
Okay. Now, can I please finish this up? Because right now I am live on the internet, so people have just heard you as well with this.
I don't care. I don't care. You need to do something.
Well, I don't know how much of you guys heard about that from, that was my mom not being very happy. Oh, okay. I'm going to start to wrap this up, guys, because I have things that I have to do, apparently, during the pandemic. Would Double Henyon be a good combo? It would be an interesting one. You could rush both of them pretty quickly. If there were no stun resists, like, you could do a fair bit of damage, I think. I like that there's, I can't remember if it's Headhunter, but critical hit, they're down in the ground. You would definitely want to 5-star both weapons with 40% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, leave a double attack, get crit expert on it, so every attack is a critical hit, and then increase the attack further. Different countries have been where my hubby was deployed for 9 months. Just stay busy. Yeah, staying busy is definitely hard. Yeah, clean my room. Okay, thank you guys. Yeah, I have you guys in my ears, so no one can hear what else is going on. An hour of maintenance. Lockdown left his stream too. Doesn't surprise me. So guys, thank you so much for listening in on my stream. I hope you guys got some decent information out of this. I know we couldn't really show much because of server maintenance, but I hope this chat is prosperous for you guys, that you guys can pull some information. So thank you again, everyone, for the support and for tuning in. See you later, guys.